election rigging and fraud, and the long-standing rule of the Bongo family, the coup has been made with mixed feelings or mixed reactions. Gabon has a complex history marked by political dynasties and a post-colonial struggle for political and economic stability. The Bongo family's uninterrupted rule for 56 years, initially under Omar Bongo and then Ali Bongo, has generated widespread discontent among the Gabonese people. The allegations of election rigging, with attendant censorship on the people and the media, led to the event of today where Ali Bongo was overthrown. The question in the minds of many is whether this coup is a good coup or a bad coup. Assessing the coup as good or bad requires considering multiple perspectives. From the standpoint of democratic principles, the removal of a leader accused of election fraud may be viewed positively. However, the means through which the military assumed power raises concerns about the rule of law and constitutional processes. However, the celebrations of the coup by Gabonese citizens on the streets of Libreville, if anything, are indicative of their desire for change. But it also underscores the volatile nature of the situation in that country. The coup presents an opportunity for Gabon to transition towards a more inclusive and accountable political system. However, the absence of a clear roadmap for the transition and potential power struggles among competing factions within the military could hamper the establishment of a stable and democratic government. The Gabonese population's jubilation at the coup reflects their desire for change and a break from the Bongo dynasty. However, managing popular expectations will be crucial to avoiding disillusionment if the post-coup government fails to deliver immediate improvements in governance, economic conditions, and social welfare. The military's intervention undermines the rule of law and constitutional processes in Gabon, no doubt about that. Building a sustainable democracy will therefore require a quick return to constitutional governance that ensures free and fair elections and the strengthening of state institutions to prevent future political crises in the country. France, the former colonial power, has for all these years retained a significant influence in its former African colonies, including Gabon, of course. The Bongo family's close ties with French political and business elites have led to accusations of neo-colonialism and economic exploitation of the people of Gabon. Gabon possesses substantial oil reserves, and France has traditionally been a major economic partner of Gabon. The coup may disrupt existing economic agreements and raise questions about the future of French investments in Gabon. France faces a delicate diplomatic situation too in Gabon. It must balance its support for democratic principles and the rule of law with its economic interests and history and historical ties. France's response to the coup in Gabon will shape its relations with the new government and its standing in the continent as a whole, especially at a time when the French have been kicked out. The Gabonese military may choose to maintain a working relationship with France, recognizing the importance of economic and diplomatic ties. However, this would require negotiations and compromises between the military government and French officials to ensure a mutually beneficial relationship. Again, a mutually beneficial relationship. Alternatively, like in Niger, Burkina Faso and others of recent, the Gabonese military could adopt a more nationalist, militant stance, seeking to distance itself from perceived French interference and exploitation too. In this scenario, the new government might pursue policies aimed at reducing French influence, renegotiating economic agreements, and diversifying international partnerships. Given the lack of a clear roadmap for the transition, there is a risk of prolonged political instability and power struggles within Gabon. This could lead to a fragmented and a weak government, making it difficult to establish stable diplomatic relations, including those with the French. At a continental level, referring to the AU, the African Union, and regional bodies such as the Economic Community of Central African States, ECOWAS, like ECOWAS in West Africa, may have to be called upon to play crucial roles in determining the legitimacy of the new government and providing support for a peaceful transition. AU and ECOWAS involvement can help ensure respect for democratic principles and adherence to the rule of law. However, it depends on how they play the politics. A fortnight ago, ECOWAS and the AU shouted down on the Niger generals who plotted a coup and threatened to invade Niger. But it was all bargaining without biting. Once popular opinion was in support of the coup leaders, and the kicking out of the French, ECOWAS yielded. The international community's response and recognition of the new government will depend on their assessment of the coup's legitimacy and commitment to democratic principles. The extent of France's influence within international organizations may also shape the response of other countries, considering the influence of France or the French at the United Nations level and at the continental level, talking about Africa. To establish a sustainable democratic system, the Gabonese military and other stakeholders must ensure an inclusive transition that involves civil society organizations, opposition groups, and representatives from various segments of society. This process should prioritize political dialogue and the drafting of a new constitution that serves all the people and all the parties in Gabon. The Bongo family has maintained a firm grip on power since 1967, when Omar Bongo, Ali Bongo's father, assumed the presidency. This dynastic rule fostered a culture of entrenched political elites, limited opposition space, and allegations of corruption. The preparation for last week's elections, which saw Ali Bongo declared winner with 67% of the vote, was marred by controversies and concerns over the integrity of the electoral process. Opposition parties accused the ruling Gabonese Democratic Party, PDG, of manipulating voter registration, biased media coverage, and harassment of opposition members. These accusations raised doubts about the credibility of that election. On election day, international media was banned from covering it. Electricity shut down, and the internet also completely shut down across all of Gabon. Opposition candidates and civil society organizations claimed that the Electoral Commission, controlled by no one else but by the ruling party owned by Ali Bongo, was manipulating voter lists, tampering with ballot boxes, and engaging in voter suppression tactics. These allegations fueled public frustration and eroded trust in the electoral process. Tensions escalated as reports of these irregularities and voter intimidation emerged. Widespread violence and protests erupted across the country, with opposition supporters clashing with security forces. The military, citing the need to restore order and protect the democratic process, intervened and declared that President Ali Bongo's government was overthrown. In a video footage coming from his home, the presidency, a desperate and physically frightened Ali Bongo, the president is seen and heard appealing to the people to go out and make noise, in quote, or protest the coup. This will certainly not save him and his government, as celebrations and dancing can be seen all over Gabon in support of the military takeover. His wife, Ali Bongo's wife and son, he says in the video, have been taken away, and that he is the only one still left at the presidency. And that is the talking point, ladies and gentlemen.